A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News with me, Kaushik Vijayasekara. Let's now take a look at your headlines. A boat carrying an estimated 39 asylum seekers intercepted in Australian waters. The Western Province Ministry of Health to engage in the clergy in curbing dengue. Turkey scrambles F-16 jets on Syrian borders. In your local news, let's start off. The University SLFP Teachers Union held discussions with President Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees yesterday.
According to the President's media unit, attention was focused on the current issues in universities. During the discussion, attention was also focused on salary anomalies, the development of both physical and human resources, revising syllabuses and student programs. The University SLFP Teachers Union has requested the President to give a date to the Federation of University Teachers Association for a discussion on their proposed strike action. The President's media unit added that the President has decided to call a meeting tomorrow, which will be presided by the Secretary to the President.
A boat carrying an estimated 39 asylum seekers has been intercepted in Australian waters. Australian media reports that these asylum seekers are likely to be Sri Lankans. According to the Australian Home Affairs Minister Jason Clare, the boat was intercepted west of Christmas Island. Also, he added that those who on board would be transferred to Christmas Island for security, health and identity checks. In more local news, the Western Province Ministry of Health has decided to engage the clergy in curbing the spread of dengue. Western Province Health Services Director Dr. Amal Harsha De Silva said that a request has been made from the clergy to create awareness among the public to curb dengue during the sermons.
Dr. Amal Harsha De Silva stated that such a request was made from the clergy as the public pays attention to the advice given by them. He added that the clergy had been requested to talk about dengue at every occasion. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health noted that 75 dengue-related fatalities have been reported during the first 6 months of the year. The epidemiology unit at the ministry pointed out that over 12,400 dengue patients have been reported during the same period. Incidentally, over 49% of dengue patients have been reported from the Western Province.
Former Army Commander Sarath Fonseka says that his political agenda is very simple. He expressed his view at a public meeting in Matugama yesterday.
The public meeting was organized by UNP Kalathura District Parliamentarian Palitha Thevara Peruma. A group including politicians and the Mahasangha were present at the event.
අපේ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය ඊටාම සරලයි. ඒක අහන් ඉඳලා තමුන්නාන්සලා ඒකට ඕන නමක් දාගන්න.
We have very simple policies and you can call it what you wish. Some say that I am a dictator. If you too think so, then continue to call me that. If you think I am a socialist, then continue to think that I am one. If you think that I am a Marxist or an extremist, then so be it. However, I have very simple policies. I spearheaded the war according to a different concept and no one has given a name for that. I want to take my political concept in a different direction, where the public will have freedom and self-dignity. However, I do not know what you will call that concept. But my policies are very simple.
A regional conference is to take place in Tehran, Iran today, focusing on improving the living conditions of shanty dwellers. The conference will conclude on the 4th of July.
The aim of the conference is to assess the number of houses and shanties with the least facilities and draft a proper mechanism to collect data on such houses. Following the survey, steps will be taken to prevent the emergence of shanties in the future. A program will also be implemented to improve the standards of tenement dwellers, and the assistance of countries in the region will be sought in this regard. Minister of Housing and Construction Vimal Veeravansa will represent Sri Lanka at the conference.
Still in local news, several houses have been damaged in Negombo owing to the strong winds that swept the area last evening.
The strong winds had been experienced in the Kadran area in Negombo. Area residents said that the strong winds had been accompanied by rain. Meanwhile, the Disaster Management Centre said that 5 houses have been damaged by lightning in Kurnagala. Assistant Director of the Centre Pradeep Kodipili said that 1 person has been injured when lightning struck the area.
Now, another suspect has been arrested in connection with the brutal killing of a 7-year-old child in Kuirulapana. Police media spokesperson SP Ajit Throna said that ongoing investigations led to the arrest of the suspect. 2 other suspects were previously arrested in connection to the crime. The 7-year-old child had been raped and killed, and her body was recovered from the Kirulapana Canal last morning. The police media spokesperson said that according to the medical report, the child had been raped for about a month. SP Ajit Throna also noted that the medical report had also shown that the child had died from a drowning in the canal after the suspects had raped the child. The child has been identified as an area resident. Also in local news, an elephant that was captured by wildlife officers in the Shravastipura area in Anuradhapura is to be released to a national park today. Steps were taken to remove the elephant from its habitat after it began terrorizing area residents.
The special unit to capture elephants at the Department of Wildlife took steps last evening to capture the elephant. This is how the wildlife officers tranquilized the elephant. News First provincial correspondent Ranjit Prasanna was able to capture this close footage of the elephant being captured. A team of 22 wildlife officers, including the Deputy Director of Animal Health of the Wildlife Department, Dr. Tharaka Prasad, and veterinary doctor in charge of the North Western Zone, Chandana Singha, took part in the operation. According to our correspondent, steps are being taken to transport the elephant to a national park.
UNP parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara says that no election will be held in the north as the Tamil community is not prepared to act according to the whims of the government. The parliamentarian expressed his view while attending a meeting in Bingiri yesterday.
යුද්ධය අවසන් කරලා රටේ තියන්න ඕනේ පළවෙනි පළාත් සභා මැතිවරණය තමයි උතුරු පළාත් සභා මැතිවරණය.
The first provincial election that should have been held after the conclusion of the war was the Northern Provincial Council election. Now it won't be held. The government is saying that there is no proper control. The Tamil people are not prepared to act according to the whims of the government. If the election is held, the government will suffer defeat. So the government is trying to bring about some sort of control with the use of Kumaran Padmanathan or KP. The government does not want to create democratic leaders. They want the elected leaders who left the organization to join its ranks. They want to take control through them.
සන්නද්ධ නායකයෝ තමන්ගේ නායකත්වයට පත් කරගන්න තමයි වුණාලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ